Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host, Paula Taylor, and this is episode 80. So I have a couple of announcements tonight. Before we even get into that, there's something that I want to say. So I looked in the mirror as I was getting ready for the show, and I was like, dang, girl, you are looking hot. And that is not something that I think very often, or previously, that's not something that I've thought about much. And so what I want to say is that this work, I say this a lot, this work has real world benefits. This has real world applications. So sometimes this work has you lying in a heap on the floor, feeling like you're never going to leave your house again. And sometimes this work has you integrated and awakening and glowing from within and looking at yourself and thinking, dang girl, you got glowing skin and sparkly eyes and you are hot and you are radiant. And I want that for you. I want you to say that and mean it as I am right now. So I just wanted to start with that. And then the other thing I want to say before we get into the announcements and the topic, I don't have notes tonight, so I don't want to forget, is that the last 4 to 6 to even maybe 8 shows have been cumulative. So you can watch this anytime. You can watch it in any order. You don't have to watch Wind Down Wednesdays in order. You don't have to be here every week. Of course, I encourage you to, and I'd love to see you here every week. But by intelligent design or intuitive design, beyond my mind space, I am seeing that the last 4 to 6 to 8 episodes have been cumulative. And if you want to join me in this radiant, awakening, integrated, beautiful space, then watch the shows in order. Do the meditations, repeat the meditations, because these meditations are leading you into this awakening that we're going to talk about next week. And I've never had a cliffhanger before, but I've already recorded next week's episode and it's a really amazing one. So I hope that you will check it out. Last week, I talked about how I didn't have words for the transformation that I was in. And next week, I'm going to tell you exactly what that transformation was and how I got there. And we're going to talk about awakening, which is where I am at right now. But before I got there, I had to go through this period of integration. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But the other announcement that I have for tonight is that I just want to mention that another way to get into this radiant state, this integrated awakening, this beautiful state of being, is to step into these dimensional frequencies with me. So I have an intro to dimensional frequency expansion class. It includes the Emerald activation, which is a great way to kind of get a taste for this energy and decide if you want to keep pursuing these frequencies. And that is February 11th. It is virtual, so you can do it on Zoom. It's from 6 to 8 Arizona time. If you want to learn more about that, if you want to read more about DFE, you can go to my website, paulataylorenergy.com. If you go to the book online page, it will tell you when the classes are. They're $44. It's a screaming deal, so I encourage you to check that out. So tonight we're going to talk about integration. And as I mentioned, last week on the show, I ended up doing a card pull. I had 2 weeks off and then I did a card pull. And so you would think that after 2 weeks, I'm a talker. I like to talk. These topics usually flow to me. So I was expecting that I would have a lot to say last week. And I didn't, because I was so deep in this transformative period. I was still in integration. I didn't really have words for what I was going through. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about integration. We're going to talk about kind of 2 different aspects of integration. But what I want to say briefly, and I'm going to kind of reiterate this a little bit next week, is that we've been talking about spiritual rebirth, and we've been talking about this difficult process. We've been talking about labor and contraction and bringing up these fears and having to look at things we didn't want to necessarily look at and having to kind of push through and then learn how to rest within this kind of contraction. And then we have this beautiful birth of whatever it ends up being. But sometimes after that birth, we're a little bit in shock. we don't know where to go next. We don't know what to do with, let's say, the new energy or whatever it is that we've birthed. We've created something. And so we get a little bit stuck. We're not quite sure where to go. And that's where integration comes in. And so for me, that period of kind of silence was me just sitting in that energy, noticing the changes, being gentle with myself about the changes, not jumping straight into this huge shift that had happened, but just sitting, just absorbing, and then doing this integration work that we have been doing for the past however many weeks. I didn't go back and look, I thought about it, but I was like, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. This whole spiritual rebirth process has been a process of reclaiming our energy, calling our energy home, moving stagnation in the body, expanding contraction, releasing fear, stepping into love in order to integrate. And that's what we're going to do tonight in our meditation. And then next week, we're going to awaken. And that meditation is powerful. I've already recorded it and it's awesome. So I'm excited to share that with you next week. So there's two things that I wanted to mention about integration, two kind of different aspects. And one of them sort of came up last week, and that's kind of actually, I talked about the power of tarot, and that reading is what kind of launched me into this understanding and brought my words back so that I could see what was going on, and it expanded out into dimensional frequency expansion. And it's really exciting to me that all of this comes from these spiritual tools, these tools that we gather, that we use, that kind of help us move through, that help us integrate, that help us get to the next level, to step into what's next for us. So in that reading last week, I talked a little bit about integration. We talked a little bit about these like kind of two worlds that we were caught between, whatever that meant to you. And then we talked about how healing is the integration of those worlds. And that requires this kind of leap of faith. It requires us to let go of the cliff and fall into healing and integration. And so the first thing I want to say about integration is this idea of these kind of disparate selves that we have. I remember way back when I was first in therapy with my amazing therapist who became my mentor, who I've talked about on the show before. She used to do something called sand tray. And sand tray is this thing where it's literally a tray of sand. And then there's all these little figures and kind of toys. There's little figurines and things. And it's kind of art therapy. It's a way to bypass when you can't quite put into words. You kind of take things and you use them and you make a sand tray and then you talk about them. And then that allows you to kind of process this thing that you were unable to speak of. And so I was talking to her about how I felt like all these different people, in this place I have to be this person, and in this place I have to be this person. And, like I'm wearing all these different hats, and who am I really? Like what is the core of me? And so she had me do a sand tray. And so I kind of arranged like in order. There were like some people on the outside or little toys, and then it kind of went in concentric, like little semicircles. And then at the very center, I put a seashell. And it was really interesting because it was a completely intuitive move. I did it right as she was coming back in the room and she said, "What's that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think that's me." And so looking back on that and having talked through it and worked through it, that is that divine essence, that soul, that universal life force energy or chi or ki, that seashell. There's a core part of you that is absolutely divine. But that doesn't mean that all the rest of your parts are not part of you, are not important, are not also who you are. So when you have different faces that you're showing or different hats that you're wearing, whether it's, you're an employee or an employer, you're a parent, you're a friend, you're a sister or a brother, there's all of these different roles that we play in life, and we tend to split them out. We tend to get kind of mental about things. Okay, I'm this way at work and I'm this way at home. And I've been absolutely guilty of that for years. I'm a medical diagnostic ultrasound technologist. I'm a massage therapist and a Reiki master. Like everything felt very segmented to me for many years. And what I have realized is that if you are going to own your power, if you are going to own your radiance, all of that must be integrated. So we're going to do that in the meditation tonight. We're going to kind of expand our bubble of energy to encompass all of that, because all of those different facets of you, all of those different parts of yourself, within and behind those, underneath those, is that beautiful seashell, is that divine energy, is that unconditional love and light, whatever word you want to use for it. But when we allow ourselves to stay segmented, when we don't embrace all of the aspects of ourself and bring that divine energy in to all of those aspects of ourselves, we're depleting our energy. We're giving energy away. And if we want to awaken, we have to integrate. And so integration is going to call that power back into us so that we have the power we need to awaken. So the other thing I want to say about integration is something that I've talked a lot about. We talk a lot about these different kind of layers of ourselves. So there's the physical layer of yourself, your physical body, your blood, your bones, your organs, your skin, your hair, the actual physical body, which is also energetic, which I talk about a lot. All of these layers of yourself are energy, and that's how we're going to integrate them. So you've got your physical layer, and you've got your mental layer, and that's, where these thoughts are bouncing around and you're getting distracted and worrying and kind of going over worst case scenarios in your head and trying to keep track of everything you want to say on Wind Down Wednesday because you don't have notes. There's that mental layer, which is also energy. Everything is energy at its core. Then you've got that emotional layer, and that is actually closer to pure energy than the physical and the mental. The energy of emotion is very tied to that seashell, to your soul, to that unconditional love and light. But we're not taught to flow with our emotions, most of us. We're taught to kind of stuff them down. We're taught to hide them or not express them at all, even in private. And we're doing a huge disservice to ourselves. We're hugely depleting ourselves by not allowing the energy of that emotional field to flow. And then there's what I would call pure energy. There's the energy that's within the body, like your chakra system, your meridians. That all has energy, even though it's held within the physical body. There's the energy that exists outside of your body. There's the etheric body that's just outside your body, the auric body. There's lots of layers of energetic bodies. We don't need to get into energetic anatomy for this. And then there's the energy of these other dimensions of, if you believe in the multiverse, of like other versions of yourself that are kind of out there. There's the energy of the spiritual realms, whether that to you is something like a higher power or God, or it's the veil that we pass through after we die, and they're sort of spiritual beings there. Whether or not you acknowledge these exist or believe in them, there is energy out there that we don't understand. And we're starting to do some scientific tests on that and stuff. But essentially, that is another area where we become fractured, where we're not integrated. And we think of ourselves as these separate, here's my physical body. Oh, here's my mental body. Here's my emotional body. And so we tend to do things like say, oh, my stomach hurts. I must have eaten something. We think, it's physical. It must have been physical. And we don't necessarily think like, oh, well, I had that upsetting conversation with my friend. And so maybe there's something going on in that emotional field or in the mental field, and it's affecting my physical body. We're starting to recognize that. We're starting to get into integrative medicine. That's what integrative medicine is, as opposed to Western medicine or Eastern medicine or alternative medicine, seeing the body as a whole, treating the whole being, not just the body or the mind or the emotions. Because, like it or not, we are fully integrated. Everything is related to everything else. Those layers of energy that you might not believe in or think that are there or that you haven't never felt before, those are affecting your physical body. Those are affecting your mental space, and those are affecting your emotions. And so the other part of integration that's so important is starting to see yourself as an integrated being, starting to recognize that there's no separation between the physical and the mental and the emotional and the energetic. And in fact, that energy underlies all of those layers. That is what integrates you. Energy ties you to that divine light that we tap into every week, or universal life force energy, ki, chi, prana, whatever word you like for that. It ties us to earth, to the physical energy of the earth. And then we have the opportunity to integrate all of these seemingly disparate layers of ourselves. And let me tell you that when we start doing that, we are powered up. We are energetic. We are radiant. We are glowing. We are on fire. We are awakened. And that's where we need to go. That is what the next phase of evolution is for humanity. And I'm going to say this next week. I'm going to say it again this week. Like, not everybody's ready to go there, and that's okay. That's another thing that we have to let people get here in their own time. But if you're watching this show, if you're listening to what I'm saying right now, chances are you are ready for this. You are ready for integration. You are ready to awaken. You are ready to start living beyond these separated parts of yourself as a beautiful, integrated, radiant being of light and love, which is what you are, which is what we all are. So tonight's meditation is going to be a really good one. We are going to work with integrating these different layers of ourselves. We're going to work with embracing and integrating these seemingly disparate parts of ourselves, these different roles that we play. And we're going to power ourselves up so that when we step into next week's Awakened Spirit meditation, we are on fire. We are ready to be awakened. We are ready to claim this power and move forward with it in whatever way that looks like in our lives. And that's one of the amazing things about this work. Every single one of us has a different path. So you getting integrated and awakened absolutely does not mean that you're going to leave your life as it is now. It might. That does happen for some people. But for a lot of us, what it means is that we're going to get our passion back. We're going to get our fire back. We're going to start doing things that we thought we had to let go of because we didn't have the bandwidth. We didn't have the energy for them. When we reclaim our energy, when we reintegrate all of this energy into this central area, into this beautiful bubble of energy that we're meant to have, there is nothing we cannot do. We will have more physical energy. We will have less mental chatter. We will have more capacity to truly love unconditionally, as opposed to kind of the conditional way the transactional way we're used to loving. Okay, I give you this, you give me that. I give you this, you give me that. When we step beyond that, when we're integrated within ourselves, then we can start to see that we are all integrated as one energy, and that separation between me and you starts to go away. And that feeling of transactional interaction has the opportunity to turn into a true lifting up, a true awakening of everyone. And this is for everyone's good. This is for your good. This is for the good of the people in your immediate circle, your friends and family. This is for the good of the people in their circle, of the people that you work with and that they work with. This is a ripple effect that will pass beyond what we can see. Me doing this show tonight, it doesn't matter how many people are watching. Each person watching this is going to shift in some way. And then the person around them will shift. And then 3 people around them will shift. And pretty soon we are making a difference. Sometimes it feels like we're not. And when we're in that place where we're kind of low energy and depleted and on the floor, and that happens in this work, it will happen to me again, I guarantee it. But the way out of that is through it. And when we get through it and we get to this next level of integration and awakening, I will integrate and awaken again and again and again. And every time I do it, I claim more energy. I step more into my power. I become more of who I really am, which is a divine being of light and love. So let's meditate together. So for this meditation, I recommend that you sit up if possible. We're going to build a lot of power in this meditation. So if you need some support, then access whatever support you need. Sit with your back against a wall, sit in a couch. You can put something behind your lumbar spine to kind of help you stay upright. The straighter your spine is, the more that energy is free to flow down and through it from above into the earth and vice versa. But get comfortable. If you're sitting down, you might sit against a wall or elevate your bottom with a booster. Just find what feels good to you. And we're going to actually step outside of ourselves for part of the meditation tonight. We haven't done that in a while, and there's a very intelligent design behind this. So first, just take 2 or 3 of those nice deep oxytocin breaths, drawing the breath in through the nose, letting your belly float out. Sighing that breath out with an audible ha sound, vibrating the vagus nerve, bringing yourself out of fight, flight, or freeze and into that ease and relaxation response. And take these breaths with intention. Set the intention right now to allow energy to flow in through the top of the head, down through the head and the throat and neck, the chest, the torso, into the hips and pelvis, down through the legs and into the feet, deep down into the earth. With each exhale, just allow that beautiful energy to pour in through the top of your head. Let it come down through your body. And then feel your feet on the earth. Get centered, get grounded in your body before we step outside of it. Feel the support of the earth. Feel how safe you are in this space, and set the intention that everything that happens in this meditation happens for my highest good. And then as you're ready, imagine that you've stepped outside of yourself. You're standing a few feet away from yourself and you're looking at yourself. And if you're not a visual person, if the imagination isn't coming, just do this with intention. Just have the intention that you're standing and you're looking at yourself and you have a memory of what you look like. So notice first, what does your physical body look like? And if you're like me, you probably have a lot of judgments that come up with this, and that's okay. Let them come up and then let them go. Breathe through them. Look past your judgments and really see your physical body for the miracle that it is. Your heart beats. You are alive, so your heart is beating. You have some sort of motion to whatever ability you have for that. Perhaps you're very active and you're able to move all of the parts of your body. Your body functions for you. Your body carries this energy around in the world. Your body physically protects you from all of the things that would penetrate into it if you didn't have the beautiful skin that you have, if you didn't have the bones of your skeleton holding your body up. So set the intention now to release anything out of your body that's no longer serving you. It's that simple. Set that intention and then take a deep oxytocin breath, and as you breathe out, release anything that you're ready to let go of that's no longer serving you. And that doesn't mean that all of your ailments are going to magically disappear, that your pain will go away. But you might notice an improvement. You might notice an increase in your energy or a decrease in your discomfort. So out loud, if possible, say, I now release anything from my physical body that's no longer serving me. And so it is. And then look at your body and notice, has your perspective changed? Has your vision of your physical body changed? If you can, invite some love into the way that you see your physical body. Notice the beauty of your body. All of us have beautiful bodies, different bodies. And what a gift to have all of these differences. So notice your differences, feel them as gifts. If you can, let go of any pressure here. We don't need any more pressure around our bodies. If you're feeling in a negative space about your body, look at it as though it's someone else's body. Pretend it's your friend's body. And send some love to your friend's body here. Be your own friend and treat yourself the way you would treat a friend that you love dearly, and send some love to your physical body. And then as you're ready, take a nice deep oxytocin breath, maybe move your body around a little bit, and then move into the mental space. You're still kind of standing outside. You're observing your body from the outside. You're observing your being from the outside. So noticing your mind space from this objective viewpoint, from this viewpoint of looking at yourself as a friend. What's happening in the mental space? Are you running on a hamster wheel? Are you thinking the same thoughts over and over again? Are you holding on to a lot of negative thoughts or thoughts that are no longer serving you? Are you feeling really scattered? Do you have a hard time focusing? Again, release any judgments that come up about this, and then just set the intention to release anything out of your mental space that is no longer serving you, to be recycled for the highest good. And then say that out loud. I now release anything from my mental space that is no longer serving me. And so it is. And then again, observe yourself, or observe yourself as though you're observing a friend, whatever feels better to you in this space tonight. And notice how you look. Maybe you look a little lighter in this whole head-brain area. And maybe you notice no difference, and that's okay. But take another nice deep breath, and then move on to your emotional body, your emotional being. And again, you're still observing from the outside. You're in a safe space. You can continue to think of yourself as you would a beloved friend or a family member. We tend to treat other people more kindly than we treat ourselves. So if that's easier for you, stay in that mindset. If you can be kind to yourself, step into that, but continue to stand a few feet outside your body. Stand in the corner of the room and look at yourself. And then think about how you're feeling emotionally. Are you shoving down a lot of emotions that need to be released? Are you holding back a lot of emotions that need to flow? And recognize that this is felt in your physical body. If you are holding things back, you might feel tightness in your throat, in your jaw, in your neck and shoulders. If you are shoving emotions down, you might be having GI symptoms. You might be having intestinal difficulties. There's all sorts of ways that our emotional health affects our physical health. So set the intention now to release anything from your emotional space that is no longer serving you. And then state that out loud. I now release anything from my emotional space that no longer serves me. I let it go to be recycled for the highest good. And so it is. And then notice as you observe yourself, how does that look? How does that feel? You can still feel what's happening even if you're outside of your body. You're still you. Do you feel a shift? And if not, that's okay. You may need to repeat this meditation multiple times to start moving some of that stuck energy, especially if it's old energy, if it's held since a traumatic event. Even in a prior life, we can hold things. So this may take repetition. It may take help. And you can reach out for help if you need it. But notice now, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you can see it or feel it, just set your intention on noticing the energy within and around your body. There's the 7 chakras that kind of travel up through the center of the body. There's all of the meridian points of Chinese medicine, all of these energy centers along the limbs, along the body. There's the etheric body, this area just around your body. It also surrounds your heart and all your organs. This is your protection. So the stronger your etheric body is, the more protection you have spiritually. There's this auric space that we've already traveled into to stand outside our body and look in. And just scan through this. Use your intuition here. Let yourself trust your intuition, because your intuition will guide you. Whether you've ever done this before or not, whether you even believe in this or not, something will come into your mind. So scan through these energy centers, this energy within and around your body, and notice, how does it feel? How does it look? Does it feel light and expanded? Does it feel buoyant and loving? Does it feel dark and tight and contracted? And again, let go of any judgments about this. You can't change something if you're not aware of it. But then as you're ready, set that intention to release anything that's no longer serving you from within your energetic fields for the highest good. And then state that out loud. I now release anything which no longer serves me in my energetic fields for the highest good. And so it is. And now stand back and really observe yourself. Observe this bubble of energy that exists around you. Perhaps you see a color or feel a color. Perhaps you see light surrounding you. Imagine that you're seeing that energy now as a bubble around your physical body. You're still looking from the outside in. You can continue to look at yourself as though you're another person, as though you're a friend or a loved one. But start to see this bubble of energy now. Give it some substance within your imagination, whether that looks like a bubble that you might blow as a child, whether it looks like a beautiful light surrounding your body. Just let that come intuitively. Again, your intuition will guide you in this energetic work. Whatever comes to you is what is meant to come to you here. So don't fight it if it doesn't match my visualization. Let your intuition guide you and see this energy around your body now. And let it be beautiful. If it felt dark, if it felt heavy when you looked into it, it is no longer that way. You have given love to this space. You have released what is no longer serving you. And so this is a beautiful, buoyant bubble of energy. And then as you're ready, around this bubble, maybe outside of this bubble, look around the room and notice all these different facets of yourself, all these different versions of yourself, all these hats that you wear, these roles that you play in life. Perhaps you're even tapping into all the different versions of yourself that exist in other dimensions, or the different versions of yourself that existed in the past that will exist in the future. You can include all of those. And look around, and all of a sudden you see that you are multitudes. There are multitudes of you out there. And this is all you. This is all part of your integrated light, part of your bubble. So start to grow your bubble and let it begin to encompass all these different versions of yourself. Let it spread out to all of these roles that you're playing in this physical plane, in this life. And if you'd like, you can spread it out to include all of your past lives and your future lives. All of your past selves in this physical life and your future selves in this physical life. You can let this spread out to include all of the versions of yourself that exist in all dimensions at all times. All of this is part of you. This energy is available to you once you integrate it. So grow that bubble. Continue to grow that bubble. And if you need to step back as you're doing this from the outside, continue moving back. You're still safe. Everything that's happening right now is happening for your highest good. So let this bubble grow. Let it get huge. And notice how beautiful it is. And notice all of the help you have within this bubble. All of these beautiful facets of yourself that serve your divine purpose, your divine being. Integrate these now into this energetic bubble that is your personal space. And just for a moment, really look at this, really see this, really feel this, however you experience what's happening right now. Know that this is a beautiful thing. This is an integrative moment for you. This is an opportunity for you to embrace all of these parts of yourself, to embrace all the layers of your being, to bring this all into one divine flow as it's meant to be. This divine energy is meant to flow through all these layers, all of these levels of yourself. This beautiful earth energy is meant to come into all of these versions of yourself and all of these layers. So notice all of this beauty. Notice all of this energy. Notice this light, this color, whatever it's appearing to you as. Just observe it for a moment and notice how beautiful it is. And then as you're ready, come into the bubble. Bring yourself back into this beautiful, expanded, integrated bubble that is all the versions of yourself, all the layers of yourself, your divine soul, your life force, your chi, your ki, your prana, that higher being that is you, that earth energy that you're connected to, the physical, the emotional, the mental. All of those versions of yourself through all time and all dimensions. Step into that now. Come back into your body and experience this from the inside. Feel this giant bubble that you've created. That is all your energy. That is all this beautiful energy, your unique energy in this life. That divine flow is there, but it's expressed so beautifully just for you within this bubble, within this body, within all of the bodies that you've had and the bodies you will be. Let yourself really feel that. Let yourself see that. Let yourself integrate these parts of yourself, recognizing that they are all this beautiful divine light, this unconditional love. Let this light and love flow through you now, flow through your body, flow into your mind, flow into your emotional body. Let it flow into that pure energetic space that's within and around the body. Let it spread out into that bubble through all of those versions of yourself. Blinding, beautiful, radiant light. That is your true nature. Integrated, awakened, alive. Let yourself be that. You are a being of light. You are integrated. You are radiant. You are ready to awaken. Let yourself feel that now. Stay in this expanded state for your highest good. Let your bubble stay big and beautiful and bright. Embrace these versions of yourself. Embrace all the layers of yourself. Let them come together in this one beautiful layer of light and love as they were meant to. And as you're ready, very slowly, affirm with me out loud, I am fully present in my body. I am fully present in my body and I am integrated. I am fully present in my body and I am an integrated being of radiant light. And then as you're ready, you can begin to gently move around, move your fingers and toes, maybe circle your wrists and ankles, move your head and neck around, shrug your shoulders if you like, just coming back fully into the body. Shake it out a little bit if you want. And then as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have the opportunity, go back and watch the last 4 to 6 episodes. Practice the meditations. Continue to grow this radiant power. This is your power. Own it. You deserve it. Have a radiant rest of your evening and an integrated rest of your week. And join me next week for a very special awakening episode with an awakened spirit meditation for next week's Wind Down Wednesday.